Gentlemen, just bear with us a few minutes. Member Enzer's having technical difficulties. We're trying to get him on as quickly as possible.
No problem.
Okay, it's done. Mm-hmm. Is that, it just has one line from left to right? Okay. All right, it's pressed.
There you are, William.
We can see you.
We can see you, William. Member Enzer?
Just take yourself off mute. We could hear you too. There
It's
you
off.
go. We can see you and hear you.
Okay. Okay, now what'd you say, Ebony, what'd you say to do? Okay. Turn the phone off, okay?
Member Enzer, whenever you're ready, I believe everyone is on the line to begin the meeting.
Okay. Well, let's get it going. Okay, what do we do now?
Go through the introducing yourself and the live streaming law, that information there.
Where I don't have that information here.
If you want, I can sort of acting chair and go through it if you'd like.
Yeah, I was just going to suggest, hey, Natalie, if you can, Mario, do you have the stuff?
Yep, I got it. I can do it.
Okay, well, I'll tell you what, hey, Bill, since you're having technical difficulties, let's let Mario go ahead and guide us through that for now, okay?
That's fine.
All right, I'll do that. So all right. So good morning, everybody. I am Mario Gangemi, and I'll get us started as the acting chair of the MDTA Capital Committee, and will conduct most of this meeting. I hereby call the meeting of the MDTA Capital Committee to order at 9:04 a.m. In accordance with the live streaming law, this meeting is being conducted via video conference and live streamed on the MDTA Capital Committee page. As a reminder, all members of this Capital Committee will have their video active during the entirety of the meeting. To minimize background noise on the call, I ask that everyone keep muted your phones or your computers or pads until you are presenting or answering a question. Then we would ask that you turn both your video and audio when speaking. When done, please turn your video off and audio on mute, please. Right now, there are no members of the public, elected officials, or media that have pre-registered for today's meeting. So we can now move to item number 1, which is approval of open session meeting minutes of November 4th, 2021. So I will entertain a motion to approve those.
Member Cox, I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
1 second, please. One
Yes,
second. I think there should be an amendment to these minutes. In that first bolded out part on page 1, approval of open session and closed session meeting minutes. Closed is misspelled, and so I would just ask that we amend it to correct this.
I'll amend it.
Second.
All right. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Nay. Okay, great. Looks like we got it. So we can approve that. The next item is the approval of KH 3024-000, the I-95 at Belvedere Road interchange. I'm going to turn off my camera and go mute because I will be recusing myself from this particular item. So I will need Mr. Enzer to guide you through that particular item, and then I'll take back over at that point.
Okay. Good morning, committee members. My name is Jason Harris. I'm the MDTA Highway Manager. I'll be presenting contract number KH3024. This is PIN number 2477, the I-95 at Belvedere Road Interchange Project. The I-95 at Belvedere Road Interchange Project consists of both design and construction of a new partial cloverleaf interchange. including the construction of a new Belvedere Road bridge structure, demolition of the existing structure, construction of retaining structures, widening of Belvedere Road to accommodate directional ramps, turning lanes, and associated improvements. This project was procured using a two-phase best value design build delivery method, which will award a single combined contract for both construction and final design services. Now, as part of the two-phase procurement, request for qualifications was advertised to prospective proposers on May 18th, 2020. In response, we received 8 statements of qualifications. From there, we issued requests for proposals to 4 shortlisted teams on October 30th of 2020. Also want to note that we did offer proposers the opportunity to provide innovative solutions to the contract in the form of alternative technical concepts, or as we call them, ATCs. We received a total of 75 ATC submissions, 25 of which were submitted from our selected design build team. 10 of those, were accepted for inclusion in their proposal. The anticipated NTP date of the contract is February of 22. The calendar day duration of the contract is 1,290 days, or 3.5 years. The engineer's estimate on the contract is $59,673,160. This does represent a 9.7% difference from the low bid received. And although the contract did not require a bid justification, we did perform a bid evaluation to ensure that the bids were acceptable. I also want to note that this the low bid cost is reflected in the CTP that was approved last month. This contract does have federal funding in the form of a federal build grant and is therefore subject to federal DBE requirements. The contract carries a 20% professional services goal, a 23% construction goal, and it also has on-the-job training hours required, 4,000 hours. The selected design build team did demonstrate that they are capable of meeting these hours. If you have the project summary sheet in front of you, you should see the summary of evaluation results, including the all of the bid prices received, their variances to the engineer's estimates, their price ranks, technical scores, technical rankings, and overall rankings. And as you can see, the Concrete General and WRNA joint venture was #1 in both price. They submitted the lowest price we received, as well as technical rank, which gave them an overall ranking of #1 and made our lives easy in terms of the selection. Now, this contract also has multiple funding sources. It does have MDTA toll revenue in the amount of about $46.7 million. As I mentioned before, the contract does have a federal build grant in the amount of $20 million. It also has third-party contributions from the Stewart companies in the amount of almost $9 million, and Cecil County in the amount of $1 million. So, and I also wanted to mention that the contract did not have any bid protests. So with all of those things being said, we are requesting contingent approval of the contract and a recommendation to move forward to the board for award of the contract. And looking to any questions.
Question? I have
Yes.
a question, member. Chairman Enzer, I have a question. What's the completion date projected at this point of this project? I know it's been going on for many years.
So we have a completion date of September 30th, 25.
25. Now, are all the environmental approvals done at this point?
We don't have all of the environmental approvals in hand yet. We are working on securing all of our environmental permits.
Hey, Jason, on this two-step procurement process, I mean, what's the goal of that? Is it to save time? So it would seem like that would be a goal, but it doesn't seem like that's worked so far. I mean, I don't know, maybe it has.
Well, overall, one of the advantages of design build is that, you do get some time savings because you're overlapping some of the design with construction. But the point of a two-step process is, this is part of how you get the best value. So the first phase is the qualifications phase, where you have your proposers submit their statements of qualifications, and from there, we choose the best teams based on the best qualifications. Now, that's the short list. Those are the teams that receive the request for proposals, and from there, we evaluate the proposals both in price and technical aspects.
Well, they can't be very far along in the beginning of any kind of design. So it's really pretty hard to put a price on, I guess. And then if you haven't picked an engineer yet, really. So I guess they give.
Yes. Sure.
Is every bidder getting paid, by the way, to submit a bids?
I'm sorry?
Does every bidder get some kind of stipend in order to submit a bid on this job? I've heard that sometimes.
Yeah, so you did have two questions there. I'll answer the first one in saying that when we issue the RFP, it does come with a 30% concept. So there was a 30% design completed that was shared with the proposers, and that's what they based their proposals on. The losing or the non-selected teams do receive a stipend. I believe on this contract, the stipend amount was $130,000, and as part of that stipend, we have the rights to their ATCs as well. So we also receive the alternative technical concepts of the non-selected teams.
So we did the 30% design. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Hey, Member Gaines, if I could just add one point too on why we use a two-step process and stipends. There's an organization called Design Build Institute of America, DBIA, that provides a lot of documentation on what they call it Design Build Done Right. It's a best practices document, and both stipends and two-step qualifications-based selection followed by a best value selection is those are both best practices with design build that DBIA recommends nationally because it helps to ensure that the most competent and qualified companies pursue the project. They've found over the years that agencies that attempt to leverage a design build process that is overly focused on low bidding tend to have very poor performance. And if you don't have a shortlisting process in the first step, you're kind of putting it out there to where you might get 8, 9, 10 proposals, and the best firms may not actually submit due to the sort of dilution of the ability to them win. So it really communicates if the design build, because as Jason indicated, we're only providing a 30% design, they're bringing a lot of innovation and a lot of ideas to the project that we want to hear and that we believe brings value to the state. And so you want to have the best proposers at the table, and absent that shortlisting process, it's been found that many of those proposers won't come if the agency is overly focused on a low bid environment.
Right. I like it. I think it's a great idea.
Thanks.
Thank you. I guess you want a motion to accept it?
I make a motion.
I'll second. Call the vote, Bill?
All in favor?
Aye. You're muted, Bill.
Bill, you're muted. Okay, go ahead, Lee. I think we got
I think we got to vote on it, right?
yes.
All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye. And so Mario's abstaining.
Or Mary's abstaining and Bill. What happened to Bill?
I'll join back in. Do we feel like we're good? Kim?
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Was it clear that member Enzer voted? I
No,
apologize.
but we had 2 votes for it.
Yeah, you need 3. Okay. Yeah. I guess we have member Ganjemic recused it.
Correct.
We will follow up with member Enzer afterwards and make sure. I don't think he had any objection, but we'll confirm that.
Yep, that sounds good. All right, well, then we'll move on. We'll come back to that. Assuming the members are okay with that, might as well make that official. We're okay to come
Yes.
back, vote on it. All right, so we will move on to MR 3024 -000 on-call signs, sign lights, and sign structures. Mr. Osborne, you're on.
Good morning. Thank you for having me. I'm Mike Osborne. I'm the traffic manager in MDTA's Office of Engineering and Construction. Happy to be here today. This morning I'm here to present MR 3024, which is our on-call signs, sign lights, and sign structures contract. And this contract provides for the installation, modification, and or removal of highway signs and ancillary infrastructure and equipment such as sign supports, traffic barrier, sign lighting, and related electrical components. And the work on this contract can be performed at any of the MDTA facilities on an on-call task order basis. This contract was advertised on June 8th, 2021. We anticipated a notice to proceed late this year. It's a 1,095 calendar day contract or 3 years. The engineer's estimate on this contract was $4,996,910, and the bid results, we had a single bid in the amount of $5,797,747, which was a 16% variance over the engineer's estimate. There was no bid protest, and this is 100% total revenue funded. As far as MBE goals, there was a 16% overall MBE goal, no sub goals, and a 1% VSBE goal. And the single bid that we received met those goals at 16.39 overall and 1.29% for the VSBE. So we are requesting consideration of approval of awarding this contract to the single bidder who has performed well on previous contracts for the authority. So with that, I'll turn it over for any questions or comments.
Anybody have any questions?
Well, I mean, of course, we're quite a bit over on the engineer's estimate. And it seems like sometimes we go through a tortured process where we want to justify the bid, so that seems to be the goal, and we get there to one way or another, which we did here. I read the justification. It's a little contrived, I think. I mean, I don't know, the engineer's office, was a reason because of COVID exposure that was going to add hundreds of thousands of dollars to the contract? I can't imagine. But I mean, at the other time, I realize you only have one bidder, so it's not like we got too many places we can go here. But I mean, contractors, I don't know. I don't think they're that. I don't know. I don't think it's that a detailed thought process as to how you're gonna. I just think they feel like they need more money, and they just stick it in the engineer's estimate because that's the first pay item. So we're going through trying to figure out how it got 78% higher. I don't know. But did they actually really say that this is because of COVID? If that's the case, well, maybe we should ask for credit when COVID goes away, because they won't have those costs.
Member Gaines, thank you. I would, I guess to respond to that, I think what we've seen is just general market volatility with some of the pricing and, not sure we could pinpoint exactly how much of that is directly related to the pandemic, but I would add, we do have a not to exceed amount of $5 million for this contract. So if we go ahead with an award, it would be for that amount.
Oh, 5 million?
That's correct.
I just to add on to that, I mean, I Member Gaines, I agree with you. I will tell you that one of my unfortunately favorite examples to cite right now is we were stopped short of 500 feet of some pretty large diameter pipe because there was a disagreement between the transportation group and Amtrak. Surprise, surprise. So we didn't order the last 500 feet, and it went from $100 a foot to $425 a foot.
How do you sleep at night?
Yeah, I'm not eating that. I already told him. I said I didn't stop it. I'm not eating it. But it's amazing.
Hey,
That it went
a
up that
question.
much.
Well, the
The,
supply prices is very real.
Yeah.
Supply chain. So that, and we're having issues with jobs we have under contract, and they don't know when they can ship pipe, and
Yep.
they don't know what the price is going to be. So,
Yep. Having that too.
So that's why you need maybe all of it, and the steel products here could be affected in a similar manner, I would think. So. Yeah.
Yeah, steel buildings are 14 months out now. Steel framing for large, for big, like an Amazon, for example, is like 14 months out now. It's crazy. Any other questions or further discussion? We don't.
I just add, I'm agreeing. It's disconcerting. I think the other thing is the only one bid is that on this type of project you've only seen one bidder.
It has, in recent years, it has become a smaller pool, I would say. We did have responses from a couple other contractors that were direct solicited, but unfortunately only had a single bid.
Okay.
All right. Well, do we have a motion one way or the other?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Okay.
I'll second.
I have a second. Any further discussion? Call for the vote then. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Mr. Enzer, if you can't, can you mute and give us your vote? Unmute, I guess. Or wave.
Yes.
You're good.
Okay, I'm good with it.
You're in favor. Okay, good. Awesome.
Yep.
So we just took care of MR 3024-000. Before we move on, Mr. Enzer, we just need your affirmation on the I-95 at Belvedere Road, whether you were in favor of that or not. We lost you when you were voting on that.
Yeah, I'm in favor of it.
Okay. So Kim, does that take care of that one?
Yes, sir, we're good.
All right, great. All
Okay,
right.
Ramsey, you can-
So, Mr. Member Andrew, you are on, and we can see you and hear you. All right, so now we will move to item number 4, which is declarations of excess land at the Point Breeze Rail Spur, which is MC number 21-7044. That is Mr. Wiedemeyer.
Yes. Good morning, members. My name is John Wedemeyer. I'm the real estate manager for the Maryland Transportation Authority. I apologize. I do not have video capability on my desktop here at Point Breeze, so all we can do is the audio. I have 2 items on the agenda. The first one is seeking recommendation for the disposal of a derelict rail spur that we have between the Point Breeze complex and the Maryland Port Administration's facility here in Burning Highway. The property consists of just under 4 acres. The Maryland Port Administration has for years been interested in taking over this property. About 20 years ago, a study was done on the property, and it was determined that there was at least $10 million worth of repairs needed to the facility before you could actually run common carrier obligations, rail obligations on this rail spur. So we have decided to convey this to the Maryland Port Administration, MPA, for a nominal value of $1, even though the value of land has come in just under $1 million at $913,000. I am seeking the committee's approval to dispose of this property. Are there any questions?
Hey, John,
Yes.
Chairman, I got a question.
Go for it.
Did you run, is anything either in this, two things that you have up today for us to consider on the rail spur and the next item? Did you run any of this by the Canton Railroad Group to see if that is any interest as far as connecting with the port, this property in the future?
It's my understanding that the reason the port wants to have control of this rail spur is so that both CSX, Norfolk Southern, and Canton Railroad will all have the opportunity to run on the spur and provide services to the port. So that's my understanding of why we're looking at the Port Administration rather than the short line carrier, Canton.
Okay, because being the representative from MDTA.
Yep.
I'll be honest with you, when I got this, I was out of town for a couple of days, and I would have gotten back to you. I'm just concerned if we transfer a property and then it's not accessible to Canton, which is owned by MDTA, as far as the lines are concerned. And there's a couple other lines that I'm going to be talking about in the future that need to be upgraded, will help the short line and help us. So, help Canton, let's put it that way, as well as the MDTA.
Correct. I'm working with Canton Railroad right now on the former Kane Street yard property to get that conveyed over to them so that they can redevelop that property.
Okay. I'm just concerned if this would have any effect, that's all.
Again, my understanding, Member Cox, is that the idea was to provide it to all three carriers serving the port.
Okay. Before it goes before the full board, I'll double check, but I'm okay with it at this point, but if it's any question, I will be back.
And great, and I'll reach out to my counterpart at the port to confirm that, and I'll get back to you as well, Member Cox.
And to Canton also. I appreciate you getting to Canton also.
Yeah, if you want, the two of us can reach out to John Magnus at Canton. Good. I'll be happy to do that as well.
Yes, I would appreciate that.
Okay, great.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
Given that we intended to donate it to Port Authority, why did we bother getting 2 appraisals or even 1 appraisal? How much did that cost?
I had the same question. Unfortunately, those are the rules that I have to follow from TSO. Is that I needed 2 appraisals for both of these dispositions, even though they were for internal.
How much does that cost?
The cost is around $5,000 an appraisal.
I see. Okay.
And I questioned my counterpart at in Hanover at the TSO office about that, and I was told that those are the rules that the BPW. Right? I guess I'll leave that to you to decide.
Hey, John, does this go to BPW?
Yes.
Okay, so it's not just TSO's policy; I believe it's state law for a disposition.
Even
I believe so.
You're right, Jim.
Well, I was going to ask the question: can we sell it for at least $10,000 so we get our appraisal back?
I wish I could do that for you guys. I have, yeah,
I know everybody thinks that the Transportation Authority is flush with cash, but that's not really true. we
I
have to
totally,
be careful.
I totally agree with you. I've been in real estate for 30 years, and giving away properties that are valued this high does not sit very well with me. So, but again, there's the liability of running the common carrier obligations on the rail spur. And again, the Transportation Authority is not in the business of being a railroad company.
Well, I think that Member Cox has said it well. We want to make sure that in giving this up, we're not hurting ourselves at the same time. I mean,
Right.
we're not
And I will reach out to both Canton Railroad as well as the Port Administration before the full board meeting later this month and get answers for you.
So do we have a motion recommending approval for the disposition of Point Breeze Rail Spur?
Yes, so moved.
All right, so Member Gaines has moved. The second.
I'll second.
Member Cox has seconded. Is there any further discussion? Sounds like we've had quite a bit. All right, well, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Member Cox, I saw you mouth aye, but
I read his lips.
I
Said
read his
aye.
lips too. Any nays? Maybe I should ask that. All right, great. All right, so we will move on to. Might as well keep going with the next disposition of.
So the second disposition I'm bringing to the committee today is, I know you folks are familiar with the Point Breeze property. There is a former guard shack and pedestrian tunnel that runs underneath Burning Highway. On the Port Administration has owned all the property on the west side of the entrance to the Port Breeze complex, with the exception of this 4/10 of an acre property. They have requested the additional property. They own the 2400 building here at the Point Breeze complex, and they have requested this property to build additional parking for their tenants at the 2400 building. There is some significant liability with the pedestrian tunnel concerning transients and inspections, leakage, water leakage to it, because the Port Administration owns the adjoining guard shack on the north side of Burning Highway. It was recommended that we convey our side to them as well. The tunnel does have a fiber optic cable that belongs to both MDTA as well as MPA. It's jointly owned. We will retain rights to that fiber optics cable as part of the transition. Does anybody have any questions on that?
Any questions? I mean, we probably have all the same questions. Why are we giving this away?
Exactly.
It cost us money to give it away.
Exactly. Not to mention the time and effort of my team to get it to this position.
Right. Well, listen, I would love it if you could get back the money we spent on both, but I suspect that it's not going to happen. Well, we have a motion. I guess we'll go there first.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, Member Gaines second. Any discussion? Further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. All right. So
Thank
with
you,
that,
members.
thank you. With that, we have reached our closed session portion of the agenda, and we were scheduled for just the Capital Committee members and some designated staff. Per the Maryland Open Meetings Act, the MDTA Capital Committee will meet in closed session under the general provision, Article Sections 3-305B, 7, and 8, and receive legal advice to discuss potential litigation regarding a contract claim for contract number MA-549. Members, do we have a motion to go into closed session?
So moved.
Great. And we have a second? Great. I don't suspect we need discussion, but I'll ask that question. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Great. So for those who are watching with us right now online, the MDTA Capital Committee will be hanging up and meeting separately in a closed session. As soon as we have completed that closed session, we will come back into this open session to complete the agenda and ratify any actions that may have taken place during the closed session. We appreciate your patience and ask that you remain on the line if you desire. Members, this is your opportunity to hang up from this session, open session, and go into the close. Thank you.
normally I'm screwed up. I have to call Natalie or Ebony, or Ebony has to call the way up here, 2-hour trip to get me squared away.
I got to figure out how I can go back and forth better.
Yeah.
Got to be a way to do that.
Well,
but
they fixed, Ebony had the guy fixed, last time we were
gotcha.
at our meeting. So far, so good. That's today. We don't know about tomorrow.
Yeah, I hear you. I mean, this is good. I mean, I do like the virtual, not having to travel so much. It's nice.
Yeah,
but
save you a little time.
save some time. Yeah. It's good for the environment too. Let's less exhaust in the air. Hopefully everybody comes back.
Yeah. Went out to lunch. They'll be back for supper.
We lost member Gaines and member Enzer.
Here's member. You're here, aren't you? Not in Florida late?
Sorry, I'm back. It wouldn't take me back. Okay, I'm here now.
We're just waiting on member Enzer to come back. I guess, Kimberly, do we need, since there's at least 3 of us here, do we need, in order to wrap up the closed and adjourn the open, do we need member Enzer back?
No, sir, you can go ahead and close it out.
All right, I'll do that then.
So moved. Make a motion.
All right.
We close.
Well, hold on.
Wait a minute. You gotta read it. Read it. Okay. Sorry, I want to get a hold of member Gaines.
I got a job to do here.
Quick.
Well, good morning. Welcome back to the open session. The MDTA Capital Committee completed their closed session. For the record, there were no actions taken in the closed sessions that require ratification. So our agenda is now complete. And now, Member Cox.
So moved.
Thank you, Member Gaines.
I knew it happened. Second.
All right. I need a second then, Member Cox. Are you seconding, Member Cox, since you were slow to the draw?
You're right.
All right. So Member Cox is seconding. Are we in favor of adjourning?
Aye.
All in favor? Aye, and I'm an aye. So any opposed? There's only 3 of us there. We didn't. It's all right. So we will now adjourn the meeting of the MDTA Capital Committee meeting. It is 9:59 according to my computer. So everybody be safe.